Very important mission. And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
You would also, I would hope, not deny the fact that the judge who ruled against the deployment to Oregon is not some lefty. She was a Bush-appointed U.S. attorney. She was on Ken Starr's team. And I love this. I just, love a good quote when she's talking about what's going on in Portland and how you can actually look at the footage and see that it's on one square block and it's not like the mess everyone portrays it to be, similar to what happened in L.A., that Trump's deployment was simply untethered to the facts. The Trump administration is getting pushed back left, right, and center. The American people are saying no to this, and the court system is saying no to this. You have judges who have been appointed by every president from Reagan up until Donald Trump and Joe Biden himself saying you cannot do this.
Now, let's just say this. Whatever Fox is paying Jessica Tarlov cannot be enough because she has to listen to this next to her.
Do you think that MAGA men are insulted by AOC?
No, I think AOC wants to sleep with Miller. It is so obvious, and I'm sorry, you can't have him. Miller is the best. I know him well socially, and the man is not overcompensating. Dana, I know when people are overcompensating. I know people at this table who are overcompensating. That person is me.
But let's talk about when it is her turn to speak and the deafening silence or unhinged ranting, it's one or the other, that usually follows her telling the truth. This week, she used her time to pour cold water on Trump's fantasy of sending troops into US cities, how it's not only being blocked legally, but the idea itself is just so wildly unpopular.
Chicago journalists are suing. Chicago journalists are suing DHS for having excessive force used against them. And I know you love a good poll. I'm going to lead the A block with it. CBS, Trump is now -10 on immigration. 58% oppose using the National Guard, 70% of independents, 61% oppose using active duty military in our American cities. They are trying to militarize the country. And he says, and Caroline Levitt echoed it today in the press briefing, well, he just wants to work together. He's not picking up the phone and calling J.B. Pritzker. He's saying, I'm coming to take your cities. And that's what he told all of the generals last week when he had them assembled.
What are the Democrats in that poll?
What? In that poll, that's not how an answer.
What's the Democrats' rating?
58% opposed using the National Guard. It's not
they're
about
like
Democrats.
20 points below what the Republicans are, but that's okay.
That's actually not true in this poll. It's 40% versus 32% approval, I think.
In a recent segment on Fox News, Tarlov reminded her co-host that the judge who blocked deploying the National Guard to Oregon was a Trump appointee, and added that even Republicans know this plan is a gross overreach, framing it how it should be framed, not as a difference of opinion, but as a constitutional crisis.
The most important piece of this puzzle came in Donald Trump's speech during that meeting where they hauled in all of the generals to listen to Secretary Hegseth and then the president. And he said, San Francisco and Chicago, New York, LA, we'll straighten them out one by one. It will be a major part for some of the people in this room. So to the generals, you're going to have to be part of this. It's a war too. It's a war from within. We're under invasion from within. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who have been telling me, about how language matters, right? And it's what the left is saying. The enemy within, which is a term that he's used repeatedly, he's used to refer to.
I used it yesterday.
Nancy Pelosi.
I think that's where he got it.
60 Minutes. The Biden administration, used it a lot on the campaign trail. So what he's saying to a room of people who have sworn an oath to the Constitution, not to him, even though I know that that's confusing for him, is that you're going to do whatever I want, and I'm going to sick you on the quote unquote enemy within, which includes people who are your political opponents. So the American people, a la that poll, have seen through it, and folks who vote like me.
Who are the? No. Wait, who's the enemy within again?
Well, for
you lost
Donald
me on
Trump,
that.
It's everyone he doesn't like. Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi,
I think he's talking about criminals, and he's talking about the woke radicals who protect him. It's kind of easy.
Talking about Antifa.
He's talking about, He's talking about. It's so simple. Why do you have to expand the target? You guys do that already. Don't do it for us. We are very specific about who we go after.
The
criminals.
No.
Criminals. You know why Trump is winning? No. Do you know why Trump is winning on immigration and crime? Because you can't lie about it.
What? We aren't on the verge of an authoritarian takeover. We are in the middle of it. Now, it's not a fait accompli. It is not certain to be successful. But if we aren't clear-eyed about what is happening, then we have no chance to arrest it. If my Republican colleagues don't force themselves to pull back and see the totality of what is happening to the political opposition, it's hard to see because it's not happening to you. It's happening to your colleagues. You're not in jeopardy of being arrested. My colleagues are. Your allies are not being taken down off the air. Ours are. If we don't all pull back and see this for what it is, we will wake up and there will be a day where our democracy is gone. And so I want to talk to my colleagues today about the totality of this plan. And it really happens in 5 steps.
Trump's plan to militarize American streets, a plan that a certain former vice president had warned us about.
Today we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired 4-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally, one that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within, and even said that he would use the United States military to go after American citizens.
Is vehemently opposed by the majority of the American people. More than half the country, in fact, recoil at this very idea. Not to mention poll after poll also shows that ICE's credibility is cratering also, with many disagreeing with their gross overreach. A Quinnipiac survey found that 56% of voters disapprove of the way that ICE is doing its job, and that includes 64% of independents.
What's public opinion saying right now about the use of National Guard troops, the deployment into cities?
Yeah, it's a political loser, John. It's a political loser. Donald Trump may think it's a political winner, but it's a political loser. Oppose Trump deploying in a U.S. city, active duty U.S. military, 61%. The National Guard in particular, 58%. When you get 3 in 5 Americans agreeing on anything, you know if that is on the opposition side, it's a political loser. And among independents, who are, of course, that key block in the middle of the United States political electorate, we're talking about 2/3 of independents there and about who oppose the deployment of either active duty U.S. military or National Guard into U.S. cities.
What are the questions that people are asking, or what are the issues they see with these deployments?
Okay, look, I think it's that they don't buy Donald Trump's case for why these troops must go into the U.S. cities. So the New York Times essentially gave you a 2-pronged little answer here, right? Trump may use the National Guard to intimidate rivals, or big city crime will spiral out of control if the troops don't go into cities. What you see here is the majority that takes the case is that Trump may use the National Guard to intimidate political rivals at 51%. Just 42% of Americans agree with the Donald Trump stance that, in fact, big city crime will spiral out of control if the National Guard doesn't go into U.S. cities. So essentially what we're seeing here is Donald Trump's making a case, the Democratic opposition's making another case, and the Democratic opposition's case is winning here, and that is a big reason why what you see is you get about 3 in 5 Americans saying they don't want troops going into U.S. cities.
Public polling shows that Trump is already on shaky ground across the board, from the economy to immigration, an issue he used to poll well on, and now to the shutdown that, again, only seems to happen on Trump's watch, right? It's got so bad that even Marjorie Taylor Greene is slamming Trump and GOP leadership.
Hearing from my constituents, it's great. We track all the calls that come into my office. About 60% of the calls coming in right now are calls of support and saying, yes, health insurance is a crisis. They're telling us stories about how they're already paying $2,000 a month with $10,000 deductibles. I'm getting phone calls from people that are saying if the ACA tax credits expire, they aren't going to be able to have health insurance. They're going to have to drop it. But I'm hearing from people on both sides, people already on the ACA and people that are already getting crushed by high health insurance premiums.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.